Irvington School Board twice. Once elected, after the special election, which returned from appointed to elected, January 30th, 1996, and then I served again, appointed by the county. And I want to salute Ms. McPherson. Her son is running, and I'll say my daughter's running, but not in Irvington. All right, Conrad, take it away, Dave.
Thank you, Ms. Kathleen, and the Irvington chapter of the NAACP for putting together this event this evening. I am honored to partner with an organization of over 100 years that's been advocating for colored folks, like each and every one of us in this room. And as you went over the mission, we talked about the abolition of segregation, discrimination in housing, education, employment, voting, and all of those things that are being challenged by by Mr. Trump, and we know that we see a lot of this stuff is being rolled back, and so when an organization like the NAACP calls and says, we want to put together a forum, I jumped at the opportunity. I don't know why the other candidates would think that this is not important, but that's kind of how we operate. We fill our boxes with a lot of literature and put people that we never see. We just see names and faces, but we never see them in our community, and we don't know how to get in touch with them. The numbers, they never answer numbers. We just get reelected. And one of the things, the voting public is so fed up that they're not even coming out. Irvington has over 33,000 voters, and most elections we fail to get about 3,000. So the people that justly recognize it doesn't matter. They say it don't matter. You might as well stay home because nothing's going to change. But I'm glad that people like myself, like Yasmin, are taking the baton and saying enough is enough. It's time for a change. And so that's my goal here. I am a parent of 2 sons raised right here in Irvington. And some of the issues that I encountered when they were going to school, they both graduated now. When they encountered, it's still going on. I drove by the school today and it's really touched on this. And there's 2 police cars outside the high school, and shouldn't be. That's a bad example. What are we telling our kids? There's a lot of our students are not graduating. They're going on to, further education. Some of them wind up in prison. I visit the prisons a lot, and I see a lot of young people from Irvington. Young men. That's our future. Here they are. They're not being taught the right thing. They're treated like criminals. And police, in a school, you expect to see police in the prison walking around, but in the school, it used to be security guards and they didn't have much to do. But now we have armed police walking around the school. That shouldn't be. So we're hoping to change that. I personally encompass some of the things, and Ms. Willard kind of took touch on some of the suspensions. That's a biggie for me. My oldest son was suspended in kindergarten. The first day he got to school, and what they say, he was scratching up his papers and he wouldn't sit down. And they kept suspending him. Eventually, I said, I'm a young man, I just bought my house here. I got a mortgage to pay. I can't keep staying home. Take care, pay the babysitter. What's the solution? And he said, we're going to have him evaluated by the child study team. Evaluated and came up with some bogus evaluation that he's learning something and classified it. Next, he bust out to the township and he spent his entire school life outside of the township. Now, why is that bad, you know. As he became a teenager, his friends started making fun of him because he's being picked up by the yellow bus. You know, and they was like, you retarded, you know, they tease him. You know, you imagine a good-looking young man, he's thinking, there's nothing wrong with me. Why am I on this yellow bus? And so he started hanging with the wrong crowd and eventually started, you know, running around Irvington with the gangs. And you know, I remember I would see him and try to take him home, and his friends wanted to fight me, you know, because I said, you know, it's my son. And even with the police, you know, the same thing. When I disciplined him, they said, Mr. McPherson, you can't do that, he's a minor. And I said, if I don't discipline my son, you're gonna lock him up when he becomes 18, you know. And so that's the same thing, and my youngest son followed the same thing, you know. And you know, and so I started advocating at a very early stage. Once I saw that, I said, you know what, this has to change. And I started attending school board meetings, I started attending PTA meetings, and one of the things I recognized is that not a lot of parents are showing up, you know, at those things either. You know, everybody's busy. Sometimes it was just myself, the principal, and you know, the school staff. I was the only parent, you know, but I was on, you know, I showed myself to being a leader, and I was not prepared to just accept things as they are, and I questioned things and I pushed it. And that's how it became, I got noticed. And in 2014, Mayor Wade Smith approached me about being his candidate for the Board of Education. Unfortunately, things didn't go the way, you know, we planned, but that started a fire within me, and I said, you know what, if they're not gonna support me, or I'm gonna run on my own, because these children need a voice. And that's where I want to make a difference. You know, I've followed the school board, and one of the things I can tell you is that every school board member either works in the township or is affiliated with the mayor. Now, you say, what is that? Has to do with anything? Well, the mayor's wife is the superintendent. So if my boss is the husband of the superintendent, am I going to challenge the superintendent? Or if my boss puts me there, which is what he does, picks his friends and places them in the, you know, on the school board, and so nothing ever changes. You know, whatever the mayor and his wife want to pass, it goes right through because nobody challenges it. Nobody's even bold enough in that. You know, they're worried about their jobs. You know, that's where the difference between me and them. You know, I don't work for it. I work for myself. I work. You know, I have my own job. So the mayor can't put a hammer over my head and threaten me with a job or threaten me with being fired, you know. And I speak up. I see Ms. Galloway's in this deal, and some of my other folks that we were at council meetings, and we give them help, you know, because we want to see change, and we're not afraid to speak up. And, you know, some of us have felt the consequences, you know, of being threatened. You know, I've been to court, we got locked up, you know, banned from City Hall, all these things, because, you know, I want to be a voice, and you don't like being challenged, you know, and they find ways, but it is not going to stop me. I've been applying, I applied in several times I've applied where it was opening, somebody quit, and so it was just like an interview process at the board meeting, and usually they always find some way to not, you know, allow me to get on there. You know, the mayor sent his candidate, and all the board members would vote, and they'd vote for that candidate, you know, regardless of what I had to say. But, you know, I said, no, well, now there's none of that, because now the residents of Irvington get to decide who they want. And they, you know, and so that's where I'm counting on each and every one of you to go out there, spread the word, tell, you know, your neighbors, your friends, your family, come out and vote. You know, one of the things in the school board, I've looked over the results, and it's one of the lowest elections. So that's actually a good thing for me, because we don't need a whole lot of votes, you know, because they don't have a whole lot of people showing up. So if my people show up, you know, victory should be secure, because, you know, the numbers are really low, so it's not going to take much to win. You know, so I think the last time I looked, the candidates got about 500 votes. You know, out of 33,000, I think we could come up with 500, more than 500 votes. You know, if we I'll go out there, spread the word, and let people know, it's time for a change. There's someone here that cares and wants to make a difference, and they're not there to rubber stamp anything, but is going to speak up. And someone that has suffered or had his children suffer because of the lack of attention that was given, that is not being paid to them. And I want to make a difference, and it's personal with me. I'm not here for publicity. I want to make a difference. I've lived here for since 2001 I bought my house. And the township is going down. And one of the things I know, I'm also a real estate agent. One of the things I know that people look at is the school system. And as we were told that if we had a B+ school system, nobody's coming here unless they have to. And with the prices that we pay for houses, people are not. People said, I don't want to come to Irvington. But there's some good people here. There's good folks in this room, and there are good people here, and we want to see change. We chose to be here. And so Irvington has a lot to offer if the people that are in charge make the right decisions and act in the best interest of the residents, instead of taking care of their friends and family and doing things that are under the table.